Last we left
Okay, so-
off. Were you gonna say something?
I was gonna say, we're still on the map inside the cave. I don't know if you want to put us anywhere
It's
else.
okay. No, there's no map for you guys to... we're gonna be doing some theater of the mind. If I could put you in the map inside your brains, I would. Last we left off, as you were all recovering after your battle with the Farum, Arvindas started talking very cryptically and told you not to look at the book of Valgothra the Mad unless you absolutely had to, before rushing off down the newly uncovered corridor in the back of the room. Sammy quickly chased after him and tried to talk him down from whatever he was planning, being that it sounded so ominous, but it wasn't enough. Arvindas reached forward and appeared to allow the broken Mythalar to arc out and strike him, the energy flowing through his body and somewhat into Sammy's, but the after effects of which caused him to lose all of his memories. While trying to deal with Arv's memory loss, you all also had to deal with how to get out of this dungeon. Arsis was able to swim and confirm a path to the lake around Gwarch, but it was challenging. So challenging, in fact, that when the rest of you attempted it, Arvindas was barely able to survive the journey, needing sort of resuscitation once you got above water. We resume with Arsis making a scene in the center of Gwarch after opening up the circular door to the ruined Netherese city of Synod and telling the masses around there that the gold and treasure to be found in the dungeon was part of the Goblin King's plan before leaping off the western wall into the water below, making her escape. The rest of you still in the watery market area of Gwarch. What do you do?
Probably get out of the water first.
Yeah.
Okay. Stepping out onto the docks or climbing out onto the docks, or do you guys want to swim all the way to shore?
I think, again, I jumped off the thing, and I think I might have been like, swim, and told them to run, essentially.
Okay.
To the shore. And I would have booked it for the shore.
Okay.
I hate to be that kid in class, but
You didn't use the
have some,
restroom?
no, didn't we have some ability checks or something like that? Because we were riding the struggle bus hard to get out of the water.
Didn't we already do that?
Yeah,
I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, you guys. So you guys swam up, and the ability checks were trying to save Arv or prevent Arv from drowning because he went limp. And then I believe that was already resolved. You swam up and eventually were underneath of one of them, but I think you pulled Arv up onto the docks of one and kind of stabilized or revived him, right? Or like gave him a little bit of healing.
I think we at least stabilized him.
Yeah, we resuscitated him.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now, having heard Arsis, I guess it would have been a little bit of a commotion. The inside of the town on the center island of Gwarch would have been loud enough that it probably would have drawn your attention. And had that not drawn your attention, Arsis making a scene through splashing into the water and screaming out for you all to swim towards the shore probably would have. Now you can dive back off, into the water and swim toward shore, or you can attempt to run along the wooden planked kind of makeshift bridges that were made in the lake as well.
Well, you know what? I'm a faster runner than I'm a swimmer, so I would stay on land.
If we take the makeshift
you are
bridges,
not a swimmer.
What would be in our way, essentially? Like, are there any guards, anyone trying to like stop us?
Good question. So as you're looking around, and you probably would have even gathered it on your way in, the outside of Gwarch is not really fortified with any sort of guards. They don't have any patrols. It is a lot of nomads that come set up their tent and peruse the wares, maybe even as they're passing through or just stopping by. All of the security is either on the battlements of the wall surrounding Gwarch, at the doors, or inside. There isn't a whole lot of, I don't know, government. There's
Security.
there's no security out here on the docks. So the only thing that would be in your way are, I don't know, other civilians that probably indifferent, but you never know.
Is it crowded though?
Not to the point to where you would suffer any sort of not be able to move with your full movement. You wouldn't have any difficult terrain of trying to weave through the crowd. While the planks are only 10, 15 feet wide with stalls on either end, you're able to navigate through there with relative ease. So what do you do?
So if there's like not any guards or anything, probably, especially with Arv being kind of unconscious, probably go on land.
Yeah. Maybe like you and I have him slumped over our shoulders and we're running through.
Okay. As the rest of you, jogging or sprinting through the docks, get to the other side of the waterfront edge, still making your way through the tents, I imagine the intention is to meet up with Arsis somewhere, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yup.
Arsis.
Yeah, I'm swimming, so.
Yeah, so you swim and end up finding they have to take a path directly south of Gwarch and kind of make their way over to the western side in order to even get remotely close to you, which still on the edges of the water you'll see a lot of scattered tents coming across, sometimes a campfire with a pot and these gnolls just kind of sitting around playing dice and yipping at each other. So like there's still a lot for them to
following me.
Make a perception check.
Okay, because I did steal from the king and create a huge commotion.
Yeah, that is a good point.
23?
23. Getting to the other side of the lake and peering around to see, once you've had an opportunity, it was difficult to constantly look behind you as you were swimming and get a good grasp while still maintaining speed. But you don't actively see anybody directly following you through the water. Nobody jumped in after you to follow you directly. As you're standing on the edge of the waterfront over there, you can, with the 23, you can gaze over and still see your companions making their way, probably on the tail end of the docks, making it to the other side of the waterfront. You can see, however, a little further back, that there seems to also be disturbance, like maybe there are some people chasing after them, but still probably a couple 100 feet behind.
Okay.
Where would you specifically try to run off to? Would you beeline directly to your companions? Or would you try to... I know last session, I think you said, I'm going to book it straight to the woods. And I had said that there aren't really any woods nearby. But where would you try to go?
There's like a couple camps around the outskirts.
Yeah, like I would probably say all in all, there's probably a little over 100 camps surrounding the southern to southwestern edge of that lakefront.
Okay. I'm gonna kind of scurry like through the camps, but I also want to like pinpoint somebody who might speak common. So I'll be like, just speak common as I'm kind of walking through. I'm like, anybody, like just in case one of them does, if one of them steps up, or somebody who looks like a leader of some sort.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna.
Go ahead.
So I'm gonna kind of make my way toward my party, Like I wanna kind of meet with them like at an
Okay.
angle, but also want to go through these camps looking for some sort of leader or somebody who looks like they're in charge but may also speak common. So I know gnolls don't necessarily do, but they might.
Yeah, understanding that you might be able to find somebody that kind of exudes a little bit of authority or look like they have their shit together. But just to make sure that I'm portraying the situation clearly, this is not, even though there's 100 tents, this isn't any one entity. These are all
No.
just okay. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah, you're able to come across a variety of different humans, dwarves, the halflings type creatures that are out here. So I guess give me what would you say to them if you saw one?
Okay. So I'd be like, are you in charge here?
There would be a couple times where you would talk to somebody and you would get a disgruntled dismissal, but eventually after the third or fourth try, you come up to somebody. No, I'm not in charge here, but I could probably get you what you need. What do you want?
Oh, I got some insight on a major haul. It's a little risky, but I figured you guys could use a little bit of a handout.
And kind of looks at the companions behind him, and they all kind of nod and have a shit-eating grin. Looks back to you. Tell us more.
Okay, I'm gonna hand him the necklace that I got off the Goblin King.
Okay.
This is the key to the Undercity. Below the Goblin Keep, King's been keeping it secret. We found so much gold down there. So much gold. But it's gonna take more than just your little band. You're gonna need allies. You're gonna need to get in there. You're gonna storm the king. You guys will be rich for the rest of your lives. You wouldn't have to live in these tents anymore. And then I'm also gonna throw him like 100 gold. Found this down there. It's all I could carry, but it's right in the middle of the city. There's just a way down. Super easy to get to. This is the key. Get you inside.
Where are you carrying this gold? And as you pull it out, how is this displayed?
It's probably just
Like
a pouch. And I'll
you
probably
you just had, I mean, thinking about the way in my mind how you had all kind of shoveled it into your bags.
Their bags. I only took 200 gold from the first.
Oh, you
thing.
only took. Okay.
I don't have a whole lot.
So that's the big thing, because I was thinking, like, if they see you open up a pouch that has,
thousands of gold,
and you're just like, here's 100 gold, go have fun.
They're gonna attack me. Yeah.
Nope. I was thinking
Yeah,
fuck, I'm gonna have to make a battle map on site here. Okay.
Nope. So I only have 200 gold total. I'm not that rich, so I'm gonna give them 100.
Okay.
And I subtracted it from my inventory, and I'd be like, "It's not fair. He can't keep all that for himself. Have you seen him? It belongs to the people. It belongs to you guys. You keep it safe. Tell your friends."
You hear that, boys? We're gonna be rich. I'm not gonna have to be out here in these desert lands anymore. We can go
We'll be able
into
to live in,
Cormyr.
Yeah, Sazale, you could be a lord with that kind of money. And then I'm gonna run away.
All right. Yeah, and you can see them starting to don some of their armor as they're getting around, and you can even see or hear, rather.
Actually, before I run, I'd be like, "What's your name again?"
Darius.
All right. I'll let them know as I go. So follow Darius, and then I'll start shouting out like, "Darius, follow Darius. Go find Darius. He's got a big payday. Go follow Darius." As I run past them, as I get towards my group. The idea is to make a commotion so that the guards can't follow us.
Nice.
Yeah.
Alrighty. And so, as you can kind of hear the commotion that you have created behind you, you eventually are able to meet up with your companions somewhere at the kind of the halfway point in the camp area. What do you do once you've re-met?
What the fuck happened to him?
Long story. Which way?
I guess the mountains are that way. We go that way to get the desert, and I'll point the direction the desert is. And
Okay. Pointing to the area directly on the opposite side of Guarch, pointing towards the north. You're on more of the southern western side. You'd have to loop all the way around to get towards the desert area, but it probably wouldn't be too difficult.
Would it be possible to walk more west away from Gorch first and then loop north?
Yeah,
Did the terrain gonna allow for that?
Yeah, you all, when you came into Guarch, came from the west. So you would be able to just kind of backtrack a little bit. And as you were even walking over here, there were a lot of really tall grass fields that you could even look out into the desert, half a mile to a mile beyond. The stark contrast between where the desert starts and ends it's very abrupt. It's almost as if it's less of a natural biome and more of an unnatural creation, maybe even magical.
Okay. I don't think we're gonna be welcome back in Borch. I might have stolen the amulet from the dragon or Goblin King and made him real mad.
Honestly, I didn't want to really come back anyways.
The only issues for Arv.
Look, the desert.
Yeah, Herc. I think that's where we're headed, and I don't think they're going to follow us. So hopefully,
It's just like it is on the map. Mountains here, desert.
But I say we skedaddle and we get out of here as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Any
Sammy
objections?
already taking lead.
Okay. Sammy, are you going to beeline directly for the desert to the north, or are you going to kind of skirt around into the western side and add probably, a half day's travel?
West. Yeah, west, and then when I feel like there's nobody on R6, then yeah, north.
Alrighty. After you travel for a few hours to the west, back towards the tall grassy plains, with the mountain range on your left-hand side and the vast desert beyond, you start to notice that it's getting, beyond midday. It's getting towards the evening time, but you can definitely tell that you are no longer being followed, if you ever even were outside of just the small town of Guarch. Do you want to be in the desert come nightfall? Or would you
I think
rather...
we want to stop before we hit the desert.
Yeah, towards the edge of it, I would
Okay.
Get
imagine.
Arv awake and everyone fed if we don't feel like we're being followed before we step foot into the desert.
That makes sense.
Making your way even just a little bit off the path to the north, heading through the tall grass, and with Arsis probably trying to find a small patch like she did the night before you all arrived at Guarch, to be kind of concealed from anybody that might be looking for you. You find a patch easily enough close to the desert border. And as you're setting up camp and just kind of looking over the area, planning the trek for the next days to come, looking and seeing a very daunting task of heading north through this massive desert, knowing that it's going to take you multiple days. You can see that on the edge of your camp, tall grass, some 3-4 foot tall, cuts off abruptly and is immediately met with sand. Some of the sand even kind of venturing in through the tall grass. But it is like a seam in the world going from lush grass into vast, dry, empty desert. Nothing, no vegetation in sight except for the occasional cactus, few and far between. Tall standing stones look to be several miles out into the desert that you can see littering, indicating that this portion of the desert of the Anauroch wastes is known as the Swords.
I think we should take a rest here before we venture in there. We should get a game plan. We should put our heads together.
Oh, I mean, we know we're heading north, but what are we looking for? I mean, I know what we're looking for, the echo, but how will we know where it is or where to find it?
I believe that information was something Arv had on him, so let's I'm gonna search Arv for maps and books and stuff, and you have to forgive me, and I'm gonna pat him down. I don't know if he's still unconscious at this point or not.
I'll say that it hasn't quite been 8 hours, because it's 8 hours
Okay.
and then you regain 1 HP, right? Yeah.
I think it's 1d4 hours actually, but
Is it?
I thought.
Let me look.
Not a mechanic that comes out very often, so.
We just get healed.
It is 1d4 hours. Okay.
And of course, Arv would take the longest.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So
He's been through it. He's a sleepy boy.
yeah, I'll say that for this particular scenario, it is towards the tail end of his stabilization period. So you are still able to search him unconscious.
Can I help?
Stabilize him or search?
Search him.
Search.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to.
A lot of that good touch, bad touch going on right now.
I just want to see if he has any cool stuff.
Well,
He has lots of cool stuff.
you guys have the wands, 2 of which have not been identified. And I don't know if anybody ever gave back his...
I think Sammy's got his pouch and his
Yeah.
book.
Yeah, I believe that to be correct as well.
Yeah,
Spell
I was-
book or just the Book of Agathra?
Agathra.
Yeah, I have not released the Book of Agathra yet.
And you have his pouch of holding, right, DJ?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So I'm just looking for his pocket. Again, I'm looking for maps and maybe like a plan or notes or maybe a journal of some sort that he might have on him. But it looks like Herc is looking for cool shit.
Okay. Herc, go ahead and roll for cool shit.
I guess while they're doing that, I'll probably start rifling through his little pouch. Just seeing what I can grab out of it.
Is it perception you want me to roll or sleight of hand? Or...
Investigation.
Yeah, whichever one. Like, if you're just gonna look over his body, like to see if he's wearing anything cool, give me a perception. If you're actively trying to pilfer through his pockets or check for seams in his cloak to see if anything's hidden, then give me an investigation.
8.
Okay.
So much cool shit.
Would you
Um,
like a bardic on that?
It's up to you.
Yeah, take a bardic.
I can't believe you're inspiring Herc to loot your companion.
Unconscious friend.
Eh.
Yeah. No,
He's
no,
not really
map
himself
pocket.
anymore.
Yeah, right. Herc, what are you doing? You need to check this pocket. Um,
The middle one's got a fun prize in it.
Doesn't
yeah,
mean I'm gonna
wow.
steal it or anything. I'm just
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
curious.
You find a couple things that are interesting. You notice that his cloak, like as you're rifling through his pockets, you notice that his cloak has some interesting in embroidery and even some details that only really show up when looking at the right angle on the underside of his like on the underside of his cloak. You can see some details that show up only at certain angles, letting you know that it is definitely not just normal material, something more. As far as inside of his pockets, you find a piece of folded paper.
I'll snatch that.
Oh,
As Herc pulls it out, a piece of folded paper, Arsis, you snatch it from his hand.
I'm gonna try.
Hey.
Yeah.
Herc, would you resist and try to pull it back?
Sounds like it.
no, it's fine.
Okay. All right.
If it's not a map, I'll hand it right back to you.
It's not a map.
Okay. Then oh, this isn't a map. Here you go.
Okay.
Herc looks.
Herc just puts on his reading glasses.
What's on there?
Little guy, what does it say?
As you open it up and you start to read, it's a lot of self-doubt. Talking about not being worthy, talking about not ever going to amount to anything. But the one thing that you do notice, having been around Arv for at least a couple days and having seen him write on maps and things like that, you can tell that it's not his handwriting.
What's the context then of the self-doubt? It's too general to like.
I guess it's not. At first, you read it as self-doubt, but as you get deeper and deeper, you can tell that it's from somebody else's perspective talking about Arv. Sorry, I wasn't clear. Basically, it's so like at
There's
first.
a letter from his dad telling him of calling
So
him
it's
a
not.
failure.
So it's not self-doubt. It's doubt of his
Yes.
abilities.
Yes, it's like at first when you're reading it, you read it as like when you're looking in the mirror and you say you're not good enough, you're never going to be able to do this, and then the more you read on, it starts to divulge into
So it's addressed to him.
yes, addressed to him, but it's always just you. It's not, they don't ever mention Arv by name. It's always just you.
Does it have a sincerely
No.
or a with love
With
No.
hatred.
You suck with love, your dad.
for your own good?
No.
It's mean.
Do you keep it?
I wouldn't have held on to this. I hold on to it.
Is it important? Is it gonna get us to the desert, Herc?
I don't think that in his condition he should be reading anything like this. It would only further dampen his spirits.
All right. Keep looking for a map.
Yeah, you end up finding a map, and there are several places kind of circled on. I wonder if I did not. Give me just one moment. You notice that one of the first places that's circled coming up from the Stormhorn Mountains is the small ruins of Gwarch, and kind of written on there some scrawling about the Netherese city of Synod. But then you also see a dotted line kind of crossing through the desert, the Anauroch desert, called the Black Road. And just below that, to the western side of the Anauroch desert, you see another circle with some question marks. To the eastern portion of that, kind of in the center of the Anauroch desert, kind of nestled in between a mountain range labeled the Scimitar Spires, and kind of right up against a small water mass, the Shadow Sea, you see a circle there saying remnants of the city of Shade and some question marks. And then you also see another circle kind of with a star written by it towards the very northwestern portion of the Anauroch deserts, all the way up by the high ice, and what you know of kind of the spine of the world, named and kind of written next to it, it says Halangadath.
That's a name.
Yeah, I'll type it out.
Thank you.
Well, I think that the best course of action is be to head towards the water source. We go there first, and then we could maybe assess from there. And it looks like it's not that far from this circle here, and we can deal with the Halongadath later.
The
if we don't
what?
find anything. Yeah, the Halongadath.
You're sure you're pronouncing that correctly?
Absolutely not. I know 6 languages, and I don't even know this one.
I mean, that sounds right.
Actually,
think.
is it in a language that one of us would recognize?
Um,
I know Draconic, Dwarvish, Elvish, Goblin, Primordial, and Sylvan. So 5 languages. 6 common.
I know Pig Goblin.
this is written in common, but it's kind of like when you get into the translation of other languages, sometimes they can lose meaning or potential. So like this is written in common, so you can read it however you want, but you would potentially know as or extrapolate from being able to see Gwarch circled and then Synod written next to it. And Arv had clearly said that this was a ruined city of Synod, that Halongadath is probably a Netherese city. So it was, the name was maybe even translated from Netherese to Common in order to be better identified.
But not a language I know. Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So apologies if I missed it. Were there any distances labeled on this map?
Or
Go ahead.
being that I am familiar with trekking stuff and can't get lost, if I'd be able to maybe guesstimate how long it would be.
Yeah, that's a really good question. There is like a scale on the map, and you would be able to tell how far away something is. You would know that the trek to the nearest one, which the nearest one probably would be the circle and the question marks on the west side of the no, you are kind of split 50-50. It's 4 days. 4 days by foot.
You're muted, Bria.
No, it just won't pick me up.
That's when you put it down.
What happened to our horses?
They got left behind in Gorge.
That's a very good question. Let's just
Well,
leave
there
it at
was a
that.
horse that was looking after all the other horses, but then that horse can't be everywhere at once.
It's true. It got
Yeah.
resummoned into.
Did we
the city.
stable them in Gwarch? Because we
So
didn't
I
take them down
kind
to
of
the dungeon with us.
remember. I should kind of remember where they were, since Dawnstar told me telepathically.
Do you
but
want to
that
go
was
get
that was
them?
a while ago.
I mean, if it's a 4-day walk, it might make sense to, have our horses.
But I do think that if we head back to Gwarch where we left them, it might be a fight, or we might have to sneak in.
Yeah, I don't think that that's a good idea either. But perhaps if there's a single extremely majestic horse that could bring them back?
Maybe somebody with opposable thumb should go with the extremely majestic horse. I'm thinking Sammy.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. And I'll start to cast. I do have spell slots again, right? Yeah, I do.
Yeah, we had
took
a
a long rest before we
whole
took a
long
swim in.
rest.
Yeah.
Find steed. However, because we're going into the desert, and Hook he's familiar with plays and books about the desert to some degree. And he knows that a camel probably moves better in the desert than any other beast.
That's an amazing deduction, Mr. Herc, but do you
So
happen to know where a camel is?
Instead of Dawnstar, he's going to summon another iteration of a spirit bond.
And what's it called?
A long a day.
How long a day?
A long a day. Oh, yeah.
That's the most Urk thing ever, and I love it.
I read this really weird word.
We're heading to a long a death. The desert.
And it's going to be a long a day.
Yeah, I thought he was just talking about it's like, no, brightness, long day in the desert.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck, that's funny.
To be clear, Halongadath is. Let me look at my map again.
More than 4 days away, yes.
12 days away
Yeah.
by foot.
What about?
So
But
we'll
we may end up
definitely
there.
want horses.
So it's gonna be many long days.
Many long nights.
And
Along a 10-day.
just so I'm
Long
understanding,
Arabian Nights.
your reason for wanting to travel there is based on the star on the map, correct?
Yes and no. Like my plan is to go where the water source is, make sure we're safe, then maybe branch out from there to explore some of the places on the map, and if we don't find what we're looking for, maybe then end up in Halonga Day. That was going to be my suggestion.
Okay. No, that's fine.
But that's up to everybody else as well.
If just this might not be great for this session, John, but actually maybe I'll ask you afterwards.
You can.
I'm just well. Is there what sort of like? If there were to be a play or like an adventure book that would feature the Anauroch Desert, what might some of the characters and things be at play in that?
Are you
Is
talking
this
about so
Just
Herc
to
would have
name your
known?
camel?
No, maybe, but no, I've already chosen the name, so we're gonna stick with that.
Okay, we're sticking. Cool.
You're talking about like the names of the
No,
creatures?
just like, would I know if there's like, if somebody was to write an adventure, is there just like nothing out in the desert? But I imagine that maybe there've been like adventure accounts or plays written that take place in the desert, something of that sort.
Joseph and the detective.
If not, then that would be good to know, and then I wouldn't have anything really to draw on for knowledge about that.
Yeah. Probably the most. I've got to see the actual words so I don't mispronounce it. It's Elven.
Mello.
Sorry.
Kirk is one of those kids that watched a lot of TV growing up, so he knows all the TV shows and characters from that day and era.
He's nostalgic for the old days.
If anything, it's like this is what would inform my. This would be like the only thing that could inform my knowledge about.
About the name of your horse?
No.
Just about
the
like
desert in
my
general.
idea, my idea about the desert in general. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, fuck, I can't find.
I don't know. Lawrence of Halongadath. There you go.
No, he's just talking about like, had you watched a movie like Star Wars, would he know that you need this or this to survive in the desert? Like, he gets all of his knowledge from plays.
Either rightly or wrongly.
Yes.
Right, yeah. It's like, oh, I watched Aladdin as a kid, so that's my entire idea of there's caves
Every
and
lamp's
genies
gonna have a genie in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, yeah. You'll have to give me until next session to be able to.
Okay,
to come
yeah,
up
that's
with
fair.
that.
That's very fair.
But
I think that
there's-
could be a fun thing to. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess you would know.
Don't worry about it too much. We can just move on. This could be something I can work on and bring more into effect next time. It could even be like another region of.
Yeah, long
Big
ago,
room, yeah.
there was an ancient sect of dwarves that created in a legion with Netherese and even Beholders, created a very it was a deep tunnel system that spanned the entire length of the desert, connecting Netherese cities to Netherese cities, and it was a way that they transported a lot of their iron and minerals and gems from their mining encampments on the western edge. There wasn't a whole lot to be found directly in the desert, so they would go to the edge of the desert and in the forests and find the mines there, and then transport it back through. And along the way, they also happened to discover or deal a lot with large sandworms, and this is canon. This isn't a Dune ripoff or anything, but large sandworms.
It can be both.
Yeah.
It's about the worms.
But yeah, that is probably one of the most popular stories. There's also an elven version of the Nether Scrolls, which was and I'm trying to remember the name of the tree. But it was a small tree made of golden leaves, and by touching those leaves, you absorbed the same amount of knowledge that you would if you were to read a Nether Scroll. And it was something that the elves had taken care of. And there was an adventuring party that came through that happened to also come through Synod, the same ruined city that you were just in. And as they were trying to thwart the Netherese from gaining too much power of getting this tree, because it had immense magical properties, they poured sunlight directly from the chalice of Amantor onto the tree to destroy it. Like that's probably a play that would also be talked about. But yeah, those are I can't remember. I was trying to figure out the name of the tree. It's like it's like Tessavir or something like that.
Let's just say that.
Okay.
Anyways,
So what you're saying is, if we ever need a one shot, that's what we're doing.
Potentially, yeah.
Sweet.
Well, they destroyed it. What else is there to do?
Yes, it was very like the air tree, but only much smaller. Like not something that could be visible from like hundreds of miles away.
Yeah, I'm imagining the Charlie Brown tree.
Yes, basically, yeah. Like you could think of it like that for sure. Okay, so as you're laying down to rest or setting up camp and thinking about what you want to do, you've pilfered his pockets, and Arvindhast comes to wake in the camp. Kind of looks around in a daze.
You survived.
As he starts to speak, it's coming out odd. In fact, it would be difficult for me to even... It's almost like Simlish. If you know what that is. The Sims speak?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Where...
Wagsabee.
Yeah, basically. It's not making any sense. You can't understand what he's trying to say. He doesn't seem to be frustrated by it. He just says a few words and sits up, kind of brushes at his legs, and then just kind of stares off into space.
Arv, can you understand us?
He turns towards you. Hudameng.
Is that accompanied by a nod?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does this sound like something that any of us would have heard before?
Make
another language.
Sounds like the Halonga Daf.
Ooh.
That would be my guess, but
It could be. Give me just
what languages we
an
know, just in case.
I can tell you this isn't a language that you know.
Okay.
But yeah. You can give me an intelligence check. History. That works.
Curious.
I say would be a +4, but so it's interesting that rolled like that.
I don't recognize it.
16.
Any languages.
I mean, if we're rolling history.
Yeah, we'll give it a shot.
What he's speaking doesn't have any structure, even similar to the languages that you all know. And you all together have a decent understanding of a lot of different languages, both commonly found and also, of magical nature. And this sounds
primordial.
like none of them. It's almost like whatever he's saying isn't even a language at all.
We can't
like
understand you.
Okay. I don't think that's how that's.
I would say that he was fine when I left you, but he wasn't this broken. What y'all do to him?
Could be a prank.
I mean, he did almost drown.
Yeah, he didn't do well coming out of the water.
But we're in the desert now. There's going to be no water.
I give him I touch his spell book. Can you write down words yes and no?
As he takes his spell book, you see him attempt to write, and it is, if you were to give a crayon to an infant, and ask them to write something. The squiggles that are being drawn onto this piece of parchment or even his spellbook are unlegible, not even the semblance of written language to be found.
Does he look worried?
No.
John, so a couple questions. Let me know what I need to roll, if anything. So,
Okay.
One, working with like dead people, Riker, his first thought is maybe brain damage from almost drowning.
Mm-hmm.
His second thought is maybe it's like arcane in nature. Can I try to decipher if it is either one of those, like what's going on with Arv?
Yeah, absolutely.
Third, it might be a prank.
Yeah, you can. There's no one check that encompasses both, but I will.
I can make multiple checks.
I
if
was
you
gonna
want.
say, go ahead and make me a medicine check, and then an arcana check. I don't know why I just wanted to say an arcane check.
All right,
okay.
so 18 on medicine and 19 on arcana.
Nice.
Okay.
I mean, these are his specialties, so.
Yeah, this is what Riker's good at.
Yeah, you've heard about instances of lack of oxygen, depravity potentially causing strokes, which eventually causes lack of simple functions, both cognitive and physical, being able to make your brain communicate to the rest of your body and do what you want it to do. This seems to have some of those symptoms, but normally when something like that happens, it also comes with a sluggish behavior of the rest of the body. But for whatever reason, at least in this particular instance, right in this very moment, it doesn't appear to be that. He was able to seat himself upright without issue. And with your Arcana check of 19, you know of certain spells that are able to alter memory. None even remotely close to this type of powerful that could just, mind blank you forever. Even the mind blank spell doesn't necessarily get rid of everything that you've ever known. But you have a feeling that, drawing from the most recent experience of Arv having lost his memory and forgot who he was, it could potentially be that those symptoms are just worsening. Maybe they were worsened by the near-death experience of the drowning. Could be a combination of the two, but you definitely know that something isn't right. But you also tried the Greater Restoration wand, and that didn't seem to help. So it's really hard to know.
Yeah, guys, I have no idea what's going on. I think it might have something to do with whatever wiped his memory, but I can't even be too sure. This is
I don't know
something
what
I've
we're
never
gonna do
seen
with him.
before.
He's a liability if we take him out in the desert with us.
But he'll almost certainly die if he goes off on his own.
Is his spellbook labeled to a point where we could be able to read through his spellbook?
Yeah, any of you that know Draconic or any of the other languages of the arcane would probably be able to read it relatively well. A lot of it, even some of the notes about the way the incantations need to be performed would even be in the common language. Just notes that he would have along each of the spell pages. So yeah, you would probably be, between the 5 of you, would be able to figure it out.
Arv, I'm gonna borrow your book for a minute. Give it right back.
He just kind of watches you take it. And just kind
Doesn't
of
react at all.
no reaction, no sense of ownership over the material that you had just taken, and then just kind of stares out into the desert.
So I'll start flipping through his spell book, just looking for anything that would, I don't know what kind of level he is, but some sort of teleport, or any sort of healing or anything like that that's in his book.
He has a lot of spells. In fact, he probably has more spells even above his level in his spell book than he doesn't have. So as you're flipping through this massive tome with, all sorts of spells, it would come down to, you would be able to find teleportation magic with ease as you were going through and looking for it. I'm trying to find the specific spell that he would have. Or the first one that you would see.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that there is... you'd probably stumble across Teleportation Circle first. And then if you kept going, you would find Teleport.
Now, with those spells, I would imagine that they're too high of a level for us to cast.
Yeah, 5th level Teleportation Circle. You guys don't have access to 5th level, right?
No.
You're
I'm just sitting over
only
here
six.
with my second level spells, baby.
Yeah.
And we only have one full spellcaster anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe we find somebody who... God, this is just frustrating. We can't take him into the desert.
Not like this.
Was there anybody in
You can take
Guarch
him
that...
into the desert.
We can't
So
even know
far,
if
his
he's.
greatest challenge has proved to be water, and there's going to be very little of that.
And that's when he could
What if it
communicate
was-
with us.
Well,
Now he's
I'll
got
look
this.
after him. I'll look after him. Don't worry. He can ride on along a day with me, and we can.
So we still have the problem of getting the horses back from Gwarch. We have the problem of taking care of Mr. R. We have the problem of making sure that we have enough water to get where we're going.
Arsis, I would interrupt that you, being survival based, and having lived around horses and dealt with horses, you would know that taking a horse without any sort of modifications out into these dunes is almost asking for death of that horse. There's a reason why camels are preferred. Like, it's very different between a horse galloping across a very packed beach. This is not a packed beach. This is very loose sand. Their small hoof print would easily just dig itself into the sand, lending it to broken legs and difficulty of travel. Camel's large padded foot kind of sprawling out makes it perfect for traveling in the desert. But if you were to go back and just get your horses, they might get you out a little ways, but you know that those horses will die eventually.
might that still be worth it to like take them?
Yeah, I wanted to make sure that like even if you made it a day further than you normally would on foot with the horses, that without any sort of intervention, you will have to be comfortable with that decision. That and I think
horses.
I think Arsis's character is smart enough that she would at least know that.
Yeah, I mean, they can function in the desert. It's just a struggle, just like it would be for us.
They would really be best for just carrying normal things, like even you adding your weight to it would.
But I don't think it'll speed us up anymore, and honestly, we'll have to keep them watered and have the same issues as us. So we didn't bring saddlebags that we could fill full of water to water us as well as a bunch of horses.
If one of us has, because I know I can make a bag of holding that we've used to keep various items in, we could maybe dump that out and fill it with water, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, but that's still just, what, 500 gallons? Not...
500 gallons is a lot. I think that'd be good for us to make it 4 days to the next water source.
Us, but maybe
how
not
much
us
weight can a
and
bag of
horses.
holding?
What's that?
500
Which
pounds.
weight can a bag? 500 pounds? That's much less. That's about 15 gallons of water. A gallon weighs about 5 pounds. No, sorry, 7 pounds.
Well, so
Wait, math.
Be at least like 60, 70 gallons.
That's a couple showers for me.
A gallon of water weighs about 8.3 pounds.
you get
60 gallons.
60
yeah,
gallons.
that's what it says. Yeah.
60
That's my
gallons.
favorite part about playing this game.
Math.
It's math. Yeah, it's math rocks. It's totally fine. So we can only carry 60 pounds of water, which the horses would drink in 2 days.
Be good for us. We should do it
Yeah.
anyway, but
Well, then maybe we just don't bring the horses then.
okay.
So, did we pass a stream or a creek or anything as we were running from Gorch? Or do we have to go all the way back and fill it full of teeth fish water?
Some toothfish as well, so y'all have food. Look at that.
Yum.
Yeah, you didn't pass any sort of streams on your way out from Gwarch. A lot of that is further west where you came from, that would be heading down into what was the Starwater River gorge through the mountains. You didn't pass any other little, like, there's some swampy area to the south a little bit before you get into the mountains, but probably
Swampy area I can make work.
yeah, you could, if you wanted to venture, I don't know, probably about 45 minutes or so to the south, you would be able to find a little swampy area that you could fill in some water.
Okay. Cool. So, what time of day is it right now? So we woke up in the morning when we left the cave, and then we ran about 4 hours away from Gwarch.
I think John said it's a little after midday right now, if I'm not mistaken, or was that back when we were in Gwarch? Because we're still packing up to take the long rest, right?
Yeah, you guys haven't
that's
taken
when
a long
our
rest.
started to come too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like I would say that it's after midday. It's probably, I don't know, about 4 or 5 o'clock.
Okay. So, what I'd like to do then, if it's okay with y'all, is I'd like to hunt down some food before we settle in for the night, that we can start drawing out for food on our travels. Racker, with your help, I'd like to make a makeshift sieve to see if we can get some water from the swamp that's clean, because swamp water is surprisingly clean compared to other water if you filter it just right. And then we should rest until nightfall. And honestly, I think traveling in the desert during the evening hours might be safer for everybody, and then resting during the day. So if you guys want to make some sort of pallet or something to cover yourself from the sun while we're getting the rest of this stuff ready, just take these beads and weave them together, Miss Rin.
Yeah, I can do that. I think we also don't we have those new
Yes.
robes to help us get through the desert?
Yes. We've got some cool new attire.
And then while you're doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and get started on tanning this thing. And I pull out the skin, lay it out so it can start to dry.
Remind me. I'm scrolling through my notes. One thing, way back in the back when you were still, oh no. Way back when you were still in Suzale, you guys made a shopping list, knowing that you would be heading out into the desert. And one of the things on that shopping list, it was either an alchemy jug or it was a decanter of endless water. And I can't remember which one. But you had asked Arv to procure that when he went to get the rings and things.
Oh.
I
You
can go back
guys-
and watch the episode, but
I didn't know if
which one's cheaper?
we didn't talk about the gold because he wasn't using gold to procure it. He was pulling it from
Right. I want to say endless water makes the most sense.
yeah.
I mean, like, if you're going out to the desert, it would make the most sense.
Yeah.
Okay. To answer part of your question, Sammy, as I'm digging through my notes to find the rest of it, that is one thing that you immediately pull out.
Okay.
The decanter of endless water.
Are you gonna say something, Sammy? Well, I'm talking about filtered swamp water.
Yeah, I was gonna make a mention of that as, because I mentioned way earlier. I was like, "Hey, what's in
Arm's
Arv's
bag.
bag of holding?"
Yeah.
And then everything else just kind of like happened.
Oh yeah.
Starts taking swigs from the decanter. Don't know what you're talking about.
Not sure. Not sure. Go 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 go. No, I'll actually. While I was rifling through his bag, I'll pull up the fancy looking jar. Oh, there's this.
I think we could just. have
You
our
pass
own
it around, we're all
private-
drinking from it. Talking about filtering swamp water.
Nope.
I imagine that's what you're all doing when I'm like packing shit up and survival moding it, and you guys all just sipping from the jug of water.
Oh yeah. We'll go to the swamp. Definitely.
When I finish summoning Halonga Day, it kind of looks like this, with these patterns kind of
Whoa.
shaved into the fur.
Oh, that's cool.
But like the hump has like a sun for Lathander, and then like kind of towards the front, like one side is Sune and the other side's Tamora, and then there's like a kind of hieroglyphic or pictograph of us kind of like walking under the sun through the desert together.
Herc out here making hieroglyphs before they were cool.
Sick.
Nice.
Everyone gets a turn.
Gonna turn at what, Mr. Herc?
Riding on Halonga Day.
Oh.
Honestly, if it,
Get
I'm
those
not sure.
interesting.
I'm not sure what we're planning to do with Arv, but if we do have to bring him with, he might be the one on Halonga Day the entire way, I think.
You guys forget, Ardu got bigger too.
Wait, what do you mean?
Wait, is that level 7?
And like Riker just looks. How big is
Hold on.
Ardu now?
Hold on, it might be level 7. I might be screwing up.
Oh, okay.
I think you're.
There's a part of me that wonders if we shouldn't just take him back to Evening Star. I know it's a long way out of our way, but
I mean, Arv made it clear we're already on a time limit. If we go back now, we're gonna miss something, I think.
yeah. You're right. I'm really worried about him. And I'm worried about having him as dead weight.
True. If this is arcane in nature, it's slim, but if we're going to anything, say Netherese, it might have some answer.
Okay.
It's slim, but with how unknown Netherese is as a whole, I guess there is technically a chance.
I know we shouldn't look at that book, but I mean, maybe it'll have some answer in there.
What would you want to ask?
Maybe we should have him look at it.
He's already.
No, he's been through enough, Mr. Herc, I think.
Plus, if there were answers in the books, he wouldn't be able to tell us them at this
Maybe he speaks that language, though. It could be a magical language.
I don't know the consequences of him looking at the book again. Him being like this happened after he looked at it the first time.
No. Sammy said that he got shocked by the Mythalar.
Mythalar.
But why did he go
was
to the
acting,
Mythalar?
Yeah, he was acting incredibly squirrely after he read the book.
Incredibly squirrely.
And then he ran off and, well, if there's anybody that knows anything about those Mythalar, it was him. Why would he reach out and touch it?
Raise his
I think he saw something that maybe he didn't want to.
But why wouldn't he tell us what to do? Or how to handle him?
Maybe it all had to do with his vision for whatever reason.
I'm gonna go back over to him. Arv, need you to look at me.
And he looks at you, his mouth kind of agape as you shake him a little bit. You can just see his head bobble like that of a baby with their neck's just not strong enough. Just kind of head just shaking along.
Do you oh my god. Do you understand me?
Krushmini samdada.
Yes or no. And either nod or shake your head.
And he just kind of grins, looking at you with his almost lifeless eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You should probably just go to sleep and figure things out tomorrow. Just sleep well, and I'll pat him on the head, very gingerly, and just leave it at that.
So, Racker, Bran, what are the odds you think that we touch something in the other place we're gonna go that's Netherese and it just kind of fixes him?
Slim, but not impossible.
I mean, that would be enough argument to bring him along. He could just ride on Hungader, long a day, whatever, and Well, as long as we go slow, take our time. See, we got the water problem solved. Like I said, I can go hunting for some food before we hit the desert. And
Yeah, I don't know what else to what else to do about it.
I mean, the
think
map's
I
pretty
almo-
straightforward.
I feel like we almost have to bring with at this point.
Because even if we were to drop him off at the nearest town, there's no guarantee they take care of him. They would know where to take him. If they would take him back to Cizale, we'd be leaving him with a bunch of strangers.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, we're about the same as that to him right now.
Yeah, but we're strangers that we know will take care of him as to the best of our ability.
Yeah.
And again, if he's on Herc's friend can run away with him if danger arises.
Yeah, I suppose so long as he stays on Halangade, I think he should be fine.
I hope we don't have to wipe his butt or anything like that.
I mean, luckily Miss Red's got some magic that deals with that.
I can clean it up. It would be okay.
Also, Mr. Herc, don't you have a button that could potentially fix that?
I do have a butt.
You do have a butt, yes. Well, I don't know if you guys want to travel tonight or if you want to wait till tomorrow night before we head out.
Let's wait until
It'll
the
be a
morning.
long day tomorrow.
We aren't going in the desert in the morning.
I think the plan is to walk by night and then try to sleep by day.
Oh, come on.
What do you think these are for? And Rin's like weaving some reeds together.
That's so that when we're sleeping, we don't get cooked by the sun.
No, but we got our really cool outfits. For walking in the sun.
I think we still need to take precautions regardless.
Just try to avoid the middle part of the day.
That might be what it would do.
We've got loads of water. It's gonna be fine.
That's usually the last thing someone says before it becomes not fine, Mr. Herc.
Usually or sometimes. Don't
Usually.
BS me right now, right? Come on, you want us to ruin our sleep cycles that much? I mean, I'm sure the sky is going to be beautiful, but I think.
How about this? Since we do
the
have
days going to be
these cloaks,
longer out here?
that we are trusting to keep us cool, why don't we travel early morning to midday, take a break at midday for several hours, and then travel late afternoon to evening time? I know the sun is your friend and you really worship them and everything, but in this case, I think we need to be safer. We need to go slow, we need to take our time.
How are we going to sleep in the sun? I mean...
That's what Miss Rin's working on. She's giving you a shade.
And,
What?
I mean, if it's really an issue, I can just cast sleep.
Yes.
Some melatonin straight to your brain.
Helps you fall asleep. Yeah.
Right. That magic power to make us fall asleep during the day.
I mean, and resting and sleeping are two different things. You don't have to sleep. You can, if we're doing the early morning and midday, we'll probably still take a break at night and take naps. Sleep then too. Depending on how cold it gets.
Tell you what, Herc. When we rest underneath that shade there, I'll let you read one of these books that I found, and I'll show a different book that was in Arv's bag.
Okay.
You can read this one. Pass the time.
I can find so many. That's so patronizing. I can find so many ways to pass the time. You don't even understand, and you should.
I don't know if you can.
Because I'm your friend.
I will lend you that book because you're my friend, but only if you just rest.
I plan to rest, and I plan to rest at the. Thought we were going to rest at the proper time. I don't know if you've thought this through. I think as we travel, you guys are going to feel like such silly people.
I mean, we can always change what we do.
That's right.
We can try it one way, and if it doesn't work, we try it a different way.
All right. I can have an
let's
open mind.
Yeah,
I think
that's
it's
what
a
I like
terrible
to hear. That's the
idea.
Herc I know.
But I'm willing to try it.
I'm gonna pat Red's
Yeah.
shoulder as I pass her and be like, "Thank you." I'm
The
gonna go hunt for
title
some
of the
food.
book, really quickly, as you kind of show him the spine or the cover of the book, Herc, you would see
Desert survival tips.
the title of it is called Songs of the Rapids, a collection of waterfall hymns and poetry.
Oh,
Well, this will be very magical out in the desert. I'll really have to use my imagination to conjure whatever imagery is present in this book.
You know, you could also play with the jug and create a waterfall.
All right, I'm gonna look for some game to go hunt and hopefully get enough for a couple days that we can dry out.
Riker,
Yeah.
realistically speaking, I know you're dealing with bodies and such. Looking at Arv there, he's looking worse by the minute.
Would you like me to comment on it, or?
Is it really a good idea that we bring him into the situation that we're going into?
Well, given all the options that we have at our disposal, it's the one it's slim, but it's still the one that to be, I think, the most likely for his survival and potential recovery. We can't really bring him back anywhere without using up a lot more time that we don't have, and just letting him wander free is almost guaranteed death for him. I think the best thing we can do is just bring him along and keep him off to the sides if we encounter any danger.
Do you think that maybe we do a kindness? And
I really hope you're not suggesting what I think you're suggesting. Sammy, all due respect, he's not a dog, or any other kind of animal.
no, a dog would survive up there at least. He's not doing anything. He's not making any sense. If he were to be separated from us for any reason, what do you put his chances of survival out there then?
Well, if he truly got lost in the middle of a desert, close to zero. But that being said, should we put him down? No, and never. Any other questions you want to ask?
No.
All right, well, good night, Mr. Sammy.
And then this conversation was out in the open, so you two would have been privy to it.
Yeah, Rin very much opted to not engage with that, and she's just weaving together these grasses.
I was just reading about the desert and I missed it. So
Wait, the waterfalls or the desert?
the desert. So I just imagined that I was enamored with Halong a Day while that happened.
And I went off to go hunt, so I'm not there.
I'm probably actually trying to familiarize Arv with Halong a Day.
That's sweet.
I like that.
As he's not standing up, he's still staying seated as he's staring out into the desert. But as you try to kind of like grab his hand and like, rub pet the animal, you find him passively doing it as he continues to stare out into the desert.
What do you see out there?
Arsis, go ahead and give me a survival check.
Good thing. $24.
Okay. You find a lot of smaller reptilian creatures, whether or not you choose to kill them or take their food or take their meat. But the one thing that you do catch is a larger, sort of like a crane, but only much fatter. And it's kind of like fishing in the swamp waters, pecking for some food. You catch it in the distance, and should you wish, I would think that you would be able to get a drop on it easily enough and down it to have a decent amount of meat.
Oh no, I'm getting lizards too. I'm taking everything I can find.
Okie dokie.
I gotta get 4 days worth of food, so.
We're gonna be eating jerky. Let's go.
Like, bird jerky is not the best, but lizard jerky? Fuck yeah.
Okay. What are the rest of you doing? Besides trying to,
Murder Arv.
yeah.
It's not murder.
I mean, basically,
kill?
is that what the talk was about? That's crazy.
Yeah, he was talking about putting him down.
Well, it's he kind of is already dead, right? He's basically, but no.
Not
You
the
can't
dead.
murder a
there's some-
vegetable, guys. You can only cook it. Okay.
We're not gonna eat Arv
Ouch.
either.
Well, give us enough
Unless
time
you're
in the desert.
Sammy, I suppose.
We could Donner party this thing.
Yeah,
Arv would be the first one to go.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Ginger flavor.
I guess periodically through the night, I'd probably look at Arv and go to him and check on him, see if there is any reducing stimuli or anything like that. If it gets to the point where he just does nothing.
Are we traveling or what? Because didn't we like just rest? Like it hasn't been like that long since we rested, right?
I think it's like evening time now.
So we rested before we took the main escape,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then we ran away for several hours, and then we rested again. So, made camp. We're talking about our plans.
Yeah, to be clear, you haven't taken a long rest yet. It's
Yeah.
still, every passing hour makes it closer and closer to evening. Yeah, you.
So we're planning on resting here in the evening and then getting up in the morning and walking all the day in the desert.
Very early in the morning.
Yeah, well, probably. It sounds like from at least the way you guys had described that you would not wait till nightfall in order to fall asleep and then wake up kind of halfway through the night and start your trek.
Yeah.
Whether Herc
2,
understands
3
it or not,
a.m.
Arceus
Yeah.
is gonna wake you guys up at 3 a.m. and we're gonna start walking.
Oh god, it's like when you wake up at 4 a.m. for like a hike.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Pretty miserable.
But
Yeah.
I'll cook you some bird. I'll have Herc cook you some bird. He's got the cooking expertise.
I'm sleeping.
I mean, if you want to be, but I got back with some food if you want to cook that first. If not, we can have Arceus special, unsalted bird.
Sounds delicious.
Take a bite, just avoid the feathers.
No, I would have deplucked it and all that stuff.
Um,
Yeah, I'm good enough with the knife to do that. I'm just not great at like adding flavor.
Roll it around in the swamp water a little bit.
No.
Okay. So Herc, you said you're gonna try to go to sleep. Rin,
Yes.
what are you doing?
Rin's making her little shades until she thinks like there's, enough that people could kind of lay under them, rolls them up, and sets them down. And then she's going to get changed into the desert fits.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't
you're
write
able to
those
do so.
down. So they're just like advantage on survival checks for desert weather.
Constitution saves it in regards to like heat related situations.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I did say that I would make a magic item for it. You guys will probably only have to maybe roll once before end of session, so maybe I'll get one. I'll get them in there before the start of the next session.
Wait, isn't it really cold at night? If we're moving at night, I guess like I'll probably wait to change if it's gonna be.
Well, it's a
Pretty
cloak. It
cold.
keeps you warm. It's not gonna make you cold. It just protects you from the heat,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It has the positives, but it's not gonna have an inverse effect
Penalize,
where because it's cold outside, you become now more cold having worn it.
All right.
Okay. So Rin, you packed up your little makeshift shade things. Riker, what were you doing?
God, I don't know if this is possible, but I might be able to help with like the shades or just creating some more, I don't know, barriers for us, because Riker does have a disguise kit, so there's plenty of like cloths and materials in there that might be able to help.
Okay.
Yeah, so where the grasses would kind of create a structure, then you can lay scarves and such on top for more full shade.
Yeah.
Scarves and clown noses. That's
Yeah, we'll,
what the disguise kit is made of.
Yeah, that could work. That could work for sure. Are you guys gonna set up watch, or are you gonna trust the night process?
I'm assuming watch. I'll take last watch though. So I
Yeah,
can
since
be
you want to
take
wake us all
first.
up.
Yeah.
I can take
first
second.
watch.
Sammy, what'd you say?
I'll take first.
I guess I can take third then.
So, I imagine that Arceus would try to feed Arv, like a child, and she'd be terrible at it.
Here
Okay.
comes the plane.
Right
Does
up his
he chew?
nose. Does he eat?
He does not chew of his own. Yeah, he is
Oh, then
not.
I'll baby bird that shit.
Oh no!
First party romance.
How
Oh.
how far are you willing to try to okay, we're just going to describe it and you can tell me what you're going to do. As you chew up the remains of
Bird.
whatever the bird, and you
Uh-huh.
stuff it into Arv's mouth, and you see it kind of resting on his tongue,
Oh yeah, no,
and you're
I'll
like,
shove it all the way down
okay,
there.
yeah, and
Yeah.
you take it and you shove it deeper back into his throat. He begins coughing.
Oh no. Then we lean his head back and we rub his throat and do
Yeah.
swallowing.
Okay. Give me.
It's not gentle. It's not attractive. It's very like survival mode.
Okay.
Then
Yeah.
I'll throw some jug on him. Let him swallow some water.
I'll allow you to
Range,
roll a
growth, and
survival
mating ritual.
check to see if you're able to.
Successfully feed our friend.
So
Yeah,
maybe the time
actually,
you roll in that one.
No, but it's a 10, so
yeah.
it's messy as fuck.
This is a
Rin
struggle.
can try and help, like, hold his head while you're doing the neck thing, and she'll give you a bardic on that.
This
I'm
is
assuming the rest of us are watching this happen.
could be. Maybe I know Herc said that he was potentially going to sleep. But
Otherwise, I'd put a stop to it. For
yeah.
Sure.
Stop us from feeding our friend.
Torturing this poor baby.
This is
That's
not
torturing.
this is not a comfortable moment. There are many times where it sounds like this is inducing like a choking response, where
Yeah, good job, guys.
Oh, I'm not good at it.
the air is being trapped by this, food being lodged into his throat, and him seemingly having forgotten or unable to physically conjure the strength to operate
The
his.
entire time I hear this choking, I'm looking right at Riker.
But you are
Riker does not
successfully able
care
to give
that
him
you are
his
looking at him.
daily rations.
Kind of dry drowning this time.
Well, I mean, we have the jug. I'd help him wash it down, but he's probably also choking on that. I'm probably covered in food spittle at this point.
Yeah.
Plugging his nose and shutting his mouth with the water inside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Arctis isn't like, she doesn't have that motherly instinct. She's not very gentle about it. This is survival.
Yeah, it's one of those. Rin is seeing Arceus like wrecking this man, and she like runs in at the last moment to try and like, oh god, let's not kill our friend. Thank
I'm not.
you.
I can feed. I'm trying to feed him, but he's fighting me on
I
everything.
know. I mean, it seems like he doesn't
Just
remember how to do
swallow
it.
it. God damn it!
You have to be gentle. It's not gonna work without giving him the opportunity to figure it out.
I swear he knows how to talk. He knew how to do this yesterday. I'm
I know.
not wiping his ass.
Does he smell?
Ooh, did Arv take a poopy?
You're welcome to try to sniff if you'd like. He doesn't outwardly
Nope,
smell.
I'm
You
staying
can't.
far away from that
you
shit
can't-
right there, literally and figuratively.
You can't perceive any outward odor from him any more than the rest of you unwashed swine would be.
I guess since we're in this mother mode, Miss Rand, if you want me to, like, we can maybe take him to the bush and see if he'll go before bed.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, I guess it's worth it to try.
All right,
shit.
so we'll stand him up and walk him over to a privacy bush and help him go potty if he needs
Does he
to.
walk on his own, or does he struggle doing that?
He struggles.
And this is
Right.
clearly declining rapidly and over time, right?
Yeah, because at first, when you first sat down after he, woke up, he was able to seat himself, and even though he was speaking gibberish, he was speaking and nodding. But the longer it's gone on since he's awoken, he seems to be in a very rapid state of decline.
Riker, we're just torturing him at this point.
There's always a chance we can bring him out of this, and there is a chance we need to take it.
And take the damn wand to him. See if that fixes him again, even temporarily. This, what they're doing right now? Do you want to be treated like this?
I'm not saying it's ideal, but we have a
There's
responsibility
nothing
to take
about
care
this
of him.
that's ideal.
I mean, I don't disagree with you there, but my point is we have a responsibility to take care of him. That's what we're doing.
Perhaps taking care of him is just ending this now.
No, it's not. And you're not going to change my mind on that, Mr. Sammy.
Sit back, and I start looking at the other books that were in the pouch.
Okay. The other books, you have Empires in the Sky, The Rise and Fall of Netheril. Where did it go? And The Stars Above Stormhorn, Celestial Alignments, Importance in Cormyr. Yeah, those are the 3 total books.
Do you have those books titled down somewhere, or?
Yeah, they're in my notepad. I can.
Okay.
I didn't tell them to you immediately because the way you were rummaging through, I figured you probably.
No, that's fine.
You gave him the waterfall. Book.
I didn't give anybody any of the books yet.
I thought.
He threatened him with a good time.
Oh.
Good.
If he behaves and sits down and rests like the rest of us in the midday.
Okay. You get a feeling as you're flipping through The Stars Above Stormhorn that there might be some good navigational help in order, obviously if you didn't necessarily have somebody that just always knows where they're at, you would be able to get some good navigational tips for using the stars. Songs of the Rapids. Okay. What about the remainder of the contents of the bag? Specifically the scrolls.
I'll probably pull 1 or 2 out and look at them very briefly.
All right. You're gonna pull out 2, and since it's a D4, I'm gonna roll a D4, and I'll tell you. I'm gonna roll 2 D4. Okay, 1 and 3 on my list. Okay. The 1 and 3 on the order that I put them down. While you can read it, you will not be able to cast this spell. Mordenkainen's Private Sanctum.
Ooh.
Bro just had that casually in. Oh my god, that's crazy.
And number 3 is Teleportation Circle, which you do have on your. Never mind. Yeah. Teleportation Circle. Those are the 2.
Circle. What level are those spells? Teleportation Circle.
Mordenkainen's Private Sanctum, I think, is 4th. Teleportation Circle, I think, is 5th. Yeah, let me double check. I didn't write that down.
It is. You're right. Television Circle's 5th.
Yeah, and I think Mordenkainen's Private Sanctum is 4th. Okay. Do you do anything else on your watch Or do you even roll a perception check, or do you just raw dog it with your passive?
I'm probably just gonna raw dog it with the passive on a 16.
Okay. It's relatively quiet. It's still daytime out. You're able to remain relatively hidden in the tall grass, seated over next to your belongings, filtering through the books and the scrolls. But yeah, your watch goes by uneventful. It is starting to get a little bit darker, probably towards sunset. It'll be dark here in the next 2 hours for sure.
I think before I wake up, I think it was Riker that said he's going to take second watch. I'm going to go over to Arv one more time.
It was going to take second watch.
Oh, is Ren going to take second watch? I can't remember. Terrible memory.
I mean, I guess you can wake up whoever you want. It'll be
I thought you
one
were
of the two
third
of us.
watch. Yeah.
I mean, at this point, it's really either or.
Yeah. Well, I don't like Riker right now, so if you're giving me the choice, I'm gonna actually wake up Ren. But first, I want to check in on Arv, make sure that he's still alive.
He is still in the last place that he was left, seated, petting Halande, looking out into the desert.
Probably sit down in front of him, see if his eyes match mine.
If his eyes match yours?
Yeah, if he looks at me or if he just stares off into the distance.
As you sit down directly in his line of sight, and you kind of shift back and forth, keeping your eyes trained on his to see if there's any semblance of following, it's not. It's as if he's looking straight through you.
I'm gonna rifle through my pack. I'm
Your
gonna pull
pack
out
or his pack?
my pack.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull out the book.
Okay.
I'm gonna put his hand on it,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just gonna like do one of these things and just like Arv, look at me.
He
Need you
does look at you at this point, but it is very sluggish, like the gaze as it draws away from the distant nothing that he was looking at, looks at you with a lack of understanding.
You remember this book? You gave it to me before you ran off. And well, this all happened. I'm gonna open it. And if I shouldn't open it, you should stop me. But if I open it for you, I don't know. I'm just gonna open it away from me. See if anything happens to him.
How
You're
long?
in the restricted section, Harry Potter.
How long do you leave it open?
I'm just gonna hold it open for a minute or so.
Okay.
And I'll
There's
close
no
it.
outward noises being made. As you're looking down at the side, away from the book, you can still see out of your peripheral his legs sitting cross-legged in the grass. You can tell that he did stop petting the camel. But outside of that, as you close the book and set it down in your lap and look at him, it doesn't appear outwardly that anything has changed.
I just wish that you could tell me that this is a torture to you to end this. Riker, he's against the idea. Ren, I don't know what she thinks. I haven't even told Arceus. Burke, I think he's just oblivious. If it were me, this is easy to say while I'm sitting in this spot and you're sitting there. If our positions had been changed, I'd hope you'd put me out of my misery. And I'll take one of my daggers. I'll put it in his lap. In case you need to protect yourself. Now, a hand on his shoulder. No, we didn't get a lot of time together, but I hate seeing you like this. I'll get up and we'll go over to Rin. And I'll just gently shake her.
Is it time already?
It's time a long time ago.
Well, I guess thank you for letting me sleep a little longer.
Yeah.
How's he looking? How's everything looking, I guess?
Nothing in the desert. Nothing back there. Barv is nothing. Why didn't you say anything?
Sometimes I don't know what the kindest thing is. And I don't know that it's my place to decide. Riker seems to have a very strong feeling. You seem to have a strong feeling.
It's just gonna die out there.
Maybe.
Night.
Night.
Real quick, I might have missed it, Sammy. Before
Yes.
you woke Rin, what did you do with the book? You put it back in the pack, right?
Yes, it's back in my pack.
Okay. And when you go to sleep, where are you? I think I remember the last time this happened. You said as long as that book is in that pack, you're gonna sleep with the pack.
On the pack.
Like, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Like, I am gonna bear hug the shit out of that pack.
Okay. I thought so. I just wanted to make sure for
precious to him.
my precious. Okay.
Well, heck.
Gonna be a long night.
That's it.
Long a night.
Such a long night.
What do you do?
Yeah. Rin's slowly pacing, staring out at the desert, staring at Arv.
The one thing that you do see as you're staring out at the desert, and just kind of racking your brain with all of your thoughts, is you notice that there doesn't appear to be any, like, it's just rolling dunes. There are those large, tall pillars of stone that are kind of scattered out a long ways, but there doesn't appear to be any sort of like tree shade or like small ponds or anything that you can see out into the desert. It is very barren.
Are we at like a higher elevation than it to see these dunes, or is it like there's a big dune in front of us? Or
No, you can
that
see at the beginning, it's, you know, small ripples of sand, and it's kind of, and as I eventually show you part of the map, you'll start to kind of get a glimpse. It is not, yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of weaving, rolling dunes, staggered as it's going out, but you can kind of see the tall stones jutting out from them. You're on about the same level. But anyways, what were you saying? Sorry.
I mean, Rin was looking.
No,
at
yeah, I was talking to Rin.
Look,
Yeah.
I just wanted to see what Rin saw to get.
Get a better sense of what I was seeing.
What you see, CC.
Yeah.
Give me a perception check just overall for
Yeah.
your watch.
Do. What up?
Nice.
Oh man, too bad you needed a 24 to see what was coming.
With a 24, knowing that you're a good ways off of the trail, you still, in one of those moments where you stop looking at the destination out into the desert and you turn around, kind of looking back at Arv, you catch a glimmer in your eye, or a glimmer of light, and you kind of train your focus in the distant beyond, and you can see what appears to be 3 or 4 lights, probably a small caravan traveling from west to east, heading in the direction of what would be Gwarch. but it is far enough off that without you having any lights around you, they would probably even mistake your silhouette in the darkened night against the desert backing as just a tall, rocky structure, or even just a patch of untamed grass. They wouldn't necessarily take you as a human stalking them or looking at them.
Oh, I'm stalking them now.
Right.
No. Okay. That's good to know. Just people moving about.
Yeah, people moving about, people passing by, but not necessarily. You can tell with a 23 that they are unaware of your presence.
Yeah. Okay.
But other than that, if you don't do anything else to interject or then your portion of the watch goes by uneventfully.
She is gonna try just one thing.
Okay.
She's gonna try talking to Arv and see if she can get him to respond.
Okay.
Like verbally at all.
Okay.
Like, hey, do you remember your name? Do you know where we are? How are you feeling? Just, general sorts of questions to see if he'll say something. Just something I want to try if he's still verbal.
Give me another perception check as you're eyeing him over, looking to see any sort of response.
Jesus Christ. She doesn't get it.
It's dark tonight.
It is relatively dark. It is hard to pick up on any small cues that he could potentially be giving off. But as far as verbal, he doesn't make any noise. He doesn't respond outwardly.
Okay, well, maybe even without that, she'll still give this a try. She's going to
Fireball?
No, she's going to cast reverse on him. Let me throw that in for everybody. And she's going to see if, she can see him coming back at all, becoming more himself, or if it's, he's just kind of already in vegetable.
Okay. I think this is specifically, let me double check, but I think this is...
I think it's only for objects.
Objects.
No people?
Yeah, no people. I think your character would know that, so I won't make you waste a spell slot.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it's a cantrip, so...
Oh,
Question.
yeah.
Nothing would be
count
wasted.
as an object right now since these are literally doing nothing?
If anything, if we were being, it would probably be more like a creature, like a beast or something.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, unfortunately not an object. I was wondering, I was like, shit, that'd be a pretty powerful cantrip if you could just fucking reverse age somebody. Yeah. Yeah. No.
All right, well, maybe she even tries to do it and then she's like, oh, that doesn't work. Okay.
Yeah, a cantrip, as you can see, some of the colors of his robes become a little bit more vibrant over time as the sun bleaching out some of the colors would have reversed, right?
Yeah, okay. I wish I knew what to do for you. I'm sorry, my friend. And then as her watch ends, she's gonna get a breaker.
Okay.
Oh, that time already?
Sure is.
All right. And Riker will just kind of lazily get up.
It is now early into the night. The sun fully set. Dark. I don't know if you would have had a campfire remaining lit. I think maybe just enough to cook, and then probably would have snuffed it out before bed.
Oh, yeah, depending on how warm it is. It would have been down to the coals at least.
Mm-hmm. What do you do?
Well, as we get into Riker's watch, can we take 5? I've really got to pee.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it.
Oh, you couldn't wait till the next watch? You could have had plenty of time.
But yeah, he didn't love that idea, so he's just like, nope, everyone can cast it. Just have to make the save.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they still have to make the check, but
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay, but anybody could cast. So, I mean, what modifier would you use, like as a ranger, if you were going to cast something that was on the wizard spell list? You would still make a wisdom check in order to cast the intelligence spell.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
And if you're a fighter or a rogue, you'd use intelligence.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because they don't natively have, yeah.
Yeah.
And even when rogues do, they end up using intelligence. I suppose.
Mm-hmm. But actually, the same thing with Eldritch Knight fighters.
Oh, do they? Okay, I didn't know that. Awesome.
That's
okay.
why I could multi-class with a wizard and Anauroch. That's the name of my own character.
All right, as
Sorry,
Riker,
making tea real fast.
You're okay. You can stay there as long as you can hear. I mean, and even then, it's optional.
Riker's
Riker,
about to describe his.
You wake up, wander over to the nearby bush, relieve yourself, and begin your watch.
All right. I'll go over, kind of sit next to Arv. I assume there's like no response from him.
Unfortunately not.
All right. Riker he's curious about something.
Curious away.
He will take out the crystal ball of true seeing and, to kind of take his mind off things. He is going to use it to see if Mortimer's okay.
Ah.
I'm throwing a wrench in your plans, John, okay?
No, that is perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. It is the middle of the night, and as you know from having worked many long nights with Mortimer, let me make the save really quick.
Okay. And I think it should be done with him at a -5 since I know him well.
Mm-hmm. And so what was this for fuck's sake, the ball that I gave you, it has a DC built into it, right? Is it 17?
Yeah, 17.
So 17 minus 5, or 17 plus 5. So he'd need to beat a 22. He'd need to beat a 22. And what does it say? It's a wisdom?
Wisdom saving throw, yeah.
Okay. Okay, he needs to get a natural 20 on this to beat it.
All right. Yep, that's fair.
What the fuck? Okay. Unfortunately, as you train your focus onto Mortimer, unfortunately, it does not focus. You can't get a beat on him.
It's like a magic 8-ball. Try again later. Riker just kind of like sees it like fail. He's not picking anything up, and he puts it back in and just says to like no one, well, guess I gotta try next time, I suppose. And after that, he's just gonna sit there, contemplate a bit, just making sure he's keeping an eye on the party and on Arv as well. not doing anything else in particular.
Alrighty, go ahead and give me a perception check for your watch.
Sure thing. 19.
Okay. You start to become aware as you're sitting down, kind of taking in your surroundings, keeping your friends safe. You become aware of a flock of birds, little ways out into the desert, circling, about 4 or 5 of them. You would probably know that they're carrying birds, potentially some dead creature out there.
Oh, like vultures.
Yeah.
Okay.
But other than that, your night goes by uneventfully.
Yeah, Riker will just make note of the vultures and just say to himself, huh, keep an eye on those. But he will get up and wake up Arsis.
Those weren't like the meaty herons or cranes that Arsis found, right? That was something totally different and interesting and okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
You're muted, Sarah, somehow. I thought you unmuted. I watched you do it.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I was like, you wouldn't know. Riker wouldn't know what kind of bird I brought back.
It's generic, but it might as well just be chicken.
All right. Okay. I'm good. I'm up. Thank you. I'll wake you up in a couple hours. Be prepared for a long trek.
Gotcha. Oh, and when we do go out there, I don't know. Watch out for the vultures, I suppose. Oh yeah, there are vultures out there.
But they
I saw
only eat
them.
dead things. They
Yeah,
don't
I
attack
know.
living things.
I don't know, just something I took note of. Is all.
Riker, the birds are not gonna get you unless you're dead already, and then you don't care.
Well, only there for your information.
All right. Thank you for letting me know that there's Karen birds near the swamp in the desert.
You're welcome.
I think you need.
I bet he'll just go to bed after that.
Okay. Arsis.
Educate that boy. City folk. Of course they're Karen birds. Just, I'm gonna be like nervously like checking stuff, packing, walking around the camp, just being prepared for this very nerve-wracking trek into a wilderness she's not familiar with. Overly preparing.
Okay. Okay.
I will be keeping an eye out on other stuff, but
Okay. Go
I
ahead.
also have my ion stone up, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is interesting. Okay, cool.
A vulture swoops down and snatches the iron stone.
That's possible.
And then the Riker's warning makes perfect sense.
Okay. Sorry. Okay.
Image of that.
I'm sorry.
I've gotta here. Hold on. Sarah, I'm sorry, but the way you pronounce carrion bird made me chuckle because it sounded more like Karen, like what you would think of. And
Karen
so,
bird, guys.
yeah, a Karen bird.
It tells you that you're doing things wrong, and that
Karen bird.
how dare this orc be in civilization? Because
It asks for the manager every single time.
right.
Anyways. Anyways, the remainder of the night goes by uneventfully. It is
Sure.
still dark. It is not super cold. It's a little bit chilly. But yeah, the night goes by uneventfully, and I would imagine you eventually rouse everyone awake.
Yep.
The rest of you.
All right, guys.
Go ahead.
Time to get up. I know it's early, but we gotta get hoofing it. Shake
You
it
wake
off.
you wake Riker up. He's just like, oh, vultures. What?
They didn't even come near the camp.
Well, let's hope it stays that way.
Yeah. I don't think I would have fussed over Arv at all. If he's just laying there, I'm gonna assume he's sleeping or whatever.
He's still in a seated position, Indian style.
Oh, did you
Then,
say
yeah.
it's time to get up?
Yeah.
I did.
Right, you heard her, everyone. Time to get up. Time to get up. This is what we chose to do. Might as well meet it head on.
Burke, I thought you were a wrestler, not a drill instructor. As I pull the pack over my face.
Well, yes, and I wrestled with this idea, but part of wrestling means to embrace it. So,
Can you embrace it a little less enthusiastically, please?
do I sound enthusiastic? No, but I'm going to meet it with every bit of me, head on, and you're coming with me.
Little less head on, little less bit.
Arsis is very gingerly rolling up her skin that she got from the monster, just leaving it out to dry all day. And then yeah, all right, that's the last for me. I'm all packed up, ready to go. Who's gonna be in charge of the water jug?
I think Sammy still has it, right?
He does.
I pass it off to you guys, so
I have
Probably
it. I'm
sit in the
about
middle
to
of camp.
pour it on your face if you don't get up, Mr. Lightner. Step
He's
two.
got it.
Step two.
I can just keep it in the bag of holding for safekeeping, I suppose.
I mean,
I may need it as an encouragement tool.
The water?
Could we string it
Yes.
up on Halong Day?
Yes.
it should be easy access, so everyone, if they need it, should be able to get it. Since
In fact, I should have a long day. Take a big, deep drink of it now.
And somebody make sure Arv is watered.
oh no,
He's not a plant.
Does anybody respond to that?
Yeah, I'll, Arsis, you want to come help me?
it didn't go so well last time, but I'll give it a shot.
Well, you've practiced now. Should be easier.
Patience.
Sure.
Patience is your friend.
I'll also allow.
drown him.
I don't know. I'm sure survival's your best, but if anybody wants to roll a medicine instead,
I mean, that would be for our doctor.
Yeah.
I mean, my medicine's good. I still think
I'll
Arsis's survival is better.
I can't
But-
wait to see her medicine check.
No, I will. No, if it's down to me and Herc, it'll be Riker.
No, I like it. I like the medicine check.
Oh my god.
He
Herc just
watered our
jamming the
arm,
jug into
but
his
he was the
mouth.
plant.
Flashes it.
he's
Got
got
some
he,
teeth out.
he's got the he's got the I forget what the heck the
Bedside manner.
Jug of endless water.
the whatever it is of endless water, and as he just kind of like pours
Decanter.
decanter of endless water, Arv's neck is back and it's just water pouring out of the side of his mouth.
I will ask for the water, and I will attempt to give it to Arv and not drown him.
That was rough. You'd think that would bother him more after his recent experiences.
I don't know that much of anything bothers him now.
John, do you want me to roll medicine?
If you want to. It's either you
Yeah.
roll a medicine or Arsis rolls a survival, but that's the only one more attempt.
I
You
will
want me to try?
either
Let
or
me
is
just
good
do
with
it.
me. Sure.
Let me just do it. It's fine.
I just wanted to see. I wanted to see Riker chip a tooth.
There you go.
There we go.
Having gained a little
Water
bit of
carve.
having gained a little bit of practice from the last time, it goes a little bit
Squeezes
smoother.
his nose.
You successfully drank a little bit of water.
Okay,
Alrighty.
well, it's time to get up on the camel.
I think we're gonna have to
Excited to go
strap
for
him
a
down.
ride? Yeah.
With you talking to him, he does kind of shift his head directly in your direction, but not
Okay.
enough to make eye
Okay, so
contact
then.
with you.
She's gonna like kind of pull him. Hurt, can you help me get him up on the camel?
Of course. Ooh, that's ominous. See those vultures out there? Maybe you can't, it's still pretty dark. Reminds me of that play by Winifred Glitchcock. Where those, avian beasts come in and attack the town.
Oh, I think I read that one. Yeah, that's. I remember that scene.
Spooky stuff, right? You best keep an eye on them.
I mean, yeah, I think that was read to me when I was.
I'd like to be out front leading this procession, and just so you know, Ardu is cold. I've got him as an ice dragon,
Okay.
so I've got a hand on him at all times as well.
Nice.
Did you see them play it at the what's the theater in Suzail?
I don't know, Suzail Theater, maybe.
Yeah, we'll go Suzail Theater right now, but
Yeah.
But yeah, one of the actual.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I did see that as a kid. Yeah.
Makes you think. I didn't think our walls were high enough, you know?
Yeah, they showed that avian creatures can just get right over them and attack people.
Dragons
While
are probably still scarier, though.
Probably.
Arsis is leading out front, I'll probably light up next to her and her something. And if Arsis were to take it, she would see that it is a spyglass.
Ooh.
Thank you.
Well, if you're leading, it probably wouldn't be a terrible idea to be able to see a little bit further away.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I will give you advantage on all perception checks, or while using the spyglass. Yeah.
Make sure you don't hit your stone as you're.
John, I've got a question for you.
Yes.
Am I still able to like move if I'm using the crystal ball of true seeing?
That's a good question. Let me pull up the magic item. I wouldn't see why not. I think, like, I think it would be similar to, shit, what spell is it? Kind of like if you were to go into your familiar's vision, where like you lose your sight, but you still have your other senses, similar to like what Joseph was doing in the end of Curse of Strahd, where like he can't see, his vision's somewhere else. Depending on where because your true sight is centered on the spell's sensor. So when you scry, it creates that sensor, and
Right.
then you have
So,
true sight there. But if you were,
Here's
go ahead.
kind of what I want to do.
Okay.
I want to use True Sight on just someone in our party, and I want to do this because with the crystal ball, it gives me True Sight out to a radius of 120 feet, centered on where I'm putting it. So I want to give essentially us or Riker True Sight over everything to see if anything is like hiding or if there's like an ambush about to happen. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a good one. I would say, that you could, but this is going to be very, very awkward walking. You're gonna be in not just a third person, but like a side character of that other person. So you're going to be trying to walk and navigate what is already going to be difficult terrain while you're out in the desert. This is going to slow down your trek by quite a lot if you continue to walk while using this true seeing. I'll say you can move, but you're essentially walking at like a quarter speed. And even if somebody was trying to like guide you along, make sure that you're not falling, or make sure that you're still walking with everybody, there's still risk of falling, losing concentration, and having to, refocus again. It would be difficult. You can do it, but I don't know if I would try to make the entire trek across the desert while using this.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Other question. Is there any more room on Halong a Day, or is it just for one person?
That's up to Herc. I don't know.
And like, if not, that's totally fine. I can save this for just like specific times. I was just curious if I could keep this going to kind of cover our backs while we're traveling the entire way.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, I don't mind the idea.
What was it? Sorry, what was it?
No, you're fine. He was basically asking, and I guess it's more my question. What does Halong a Day come with a saddle, or are you strapping Arv down bareback?
Bare humped.
I think I can choose. I actually don't know.
I think he just comes as is. I don't think he gets a saddle.
Because if he comes without a saddle, I would say that it's probably going to be really difficult to have two people up on top of the camel.
I mean, he's an unusually intelligent, strong, and loyal steed.
I will say it doesn't specify, so I would say probably not then.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say, unfortunately, there are going to be some uses where I think that you'll be able to do that. Maybe even navigating like a dungeon or something like that, where it's just short-term looking and doing that. I think the desert might be a difficult place for it. There might be instances where you come across like a certain structure where you might want it, but just for traveling long-term across the desert, it would probably be pretty difficult to do. So I would advise against it.
Yeah, I won't do it like the entire way. I guess if we come across or come to a situation where like we think there could be an ambush, I'll use it, but for the time being, I'll just walk normally.
Okay. Sounds good. Alrighty. And where specifically are you headed as you venture north? Of the 3 points of interest on the map of the Anauroch wastes.
Even though we still have the endless water, Arsa still knows that fighting water is really important. So she's gonna head to if you guys let her lead without any instruction, she's gonna head straight to the water source and use that as our base of operations.
Okay. Give me a survival check. Now, remind me, do you always know the cardinal directions in order to know where you're at, to know how to navigate, or is that only in like favored terrain? I know they kind of did away with favored terrain in editions of, or redid it at least.
So it says, I have excellent memory for maps and geography. I can always recall the general layout of terrain, settlements, and other features around me.
Okay.
In addition, I can find food, fresh water for myself and up to 5 players each day, provided the land offers it.
Okay.
So that's my Outlander feature for my background.
Okay.
And then my Ranger feature.
Ranger University sounds very rigorous.
I know, right?
If you don't always know where you are, then you fail.
Doesn't say. Okay, here. You explore, survivor, both wilderness and dealing with others of your travels. No, this one, the Death Explorer get away with the whole like favored terrain thing. So.
Okay. I thought so.
I just have proficiency is doubled for ability checks you make using your chosen skill. Oh, yeah, so that's all it gives you.
Okay. I'm gonna say with your background feature, having a map and being able to look out, you have a pretty good idea of the direction that you want to take, and you set forth into the desert. One small moment.
Is it your turn to go to the bathroom? I thought you already did that.
No, I did do that. I'm looking in my notes about something unimportant, but it's racking my brain to the point to where I can't think of anything else. And until I find it, then it's gonna make me cry.
Aren't you?
While he's doing that, did anybody take the time to dress Arv in his special desert clothes?
Probably. Let's just say yes.
It's not that high.
Yeah,
yet.
right.
Actually, I don't want to leave the privacy bush that Riker peed on as well.
Wait, actually,
having done that.
the important question is, what happened to the dagger Sammy gave Arv?
I would have
Yeah,
picked
right.
it up at some point.
Yeah.
It's just there. It's just on Arv.
If Arv didn't use it, I would have taken it.
I'm sure if we stood him up and it fell, we would have picked it up and put it in his pocket or something. It's not.
Oh, Arv, silly Arv, just dropping daggers.
Right. This is yours.
Or plot twist, he just has it like gripped in his hand.
Halloween was a couple days ago.
He's gonna slit all our throats and then he's gonna come to just enough.
Yep.
Herc.
Yes.
I found it.
I think, yeah, no saddle, right?
No. Yeah, we'll go no saddle, but this is why it's so stupid. It was completely unrelated. You had talked about, have you seen the play, and saying we'd said the theater of
right.
Suzail. There's a temple of knowledge called the Silent Room. It's a temple to Ogma, and they store lots of different things. Behind the Silent Room, in kind of right off the promenade of Suzail, there is a small outdoor amphitheater called the Listening Circle, where priests of the Temple of Ogma put on plays, reenacting things of history. Anyways,
I don't know. That sounds a little stuffy. I've probably seen those, but what I'm thinking is a bit more lively and.
Okay.
More of a local theater vibe.
Okay. All right. Anyways, that was the thing.
Maybe like a traveling. It could have been a traveling thing, you know,
Okay.
like
Something that came to Jester's Green.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds like a good thing.
Anyways, venturing off into the desert. A bit chilly, colder. The moon overhead and the stars glistening in the sky, lighting your path. Kind of sand glistening under the light of the moon. Wind sweeping as you start to get into the rolling dunes. First, maybe only 3-4 foot. Then 5-6 feet, and now 2-3 hours into your travels, you are starting to climb up these rolling 10-foot dunes. Eventually you get to the point to where you can see these tall stone monoliths in the distance, standing tall, jutting out of the sand. You eventually crest over the top of a dune, and you see a smaller, somewhat flatter landscape where these large stone pillars litter as far as the eye can see on either side. Probably only about maybe a half mile ahead of you, but venturing east and west is creating this long ring of stones. I will move you all to this area.
Get a map? What was that?
Just sand. Zoom out.
Sand.
And
So rough and coarse.
and it gets everywhere.
Everywhere.
Somebody had to say that eventually, and I'm
Of
glad
course.
you did.
I feel like that's not the first time that's come up.
Not at
Oh,
all.
God.
And it won't be
Yeah.
the last either.
We're simple creatures.
I see old meme. I quote old meme.
Oh.
It's reference humor. We love it.
Yeah.
Let me bust out the camel and Arv's token. And then Arv.
Face here.
There he is.
Is that Sammy's new token?
It is Sammy's new
It's
token.
really staring us down. Oh my god. It's enough, man.
Can we get a haircut?
Yes, I did. Is he off center? That's what I want to know. So weird. Okay, there we go. That's
And
better.
his face is so much bigger than everyone else's.
I think it's because I don't think your token is the. Oh, it is the same size. Interesting. Okay.
It's just got a smaller.
It doesn't
Smaller
have
ring.
the rim around it, and it somehow he's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to adjust it because OCD. Anyways, as you're venturing forth, heading north towards through this the swords, it's called. You're venturing towards the remnants of the City of Shade, to the Shadow Sea. Those of you with a passive perception above 15 start to feel something. It's been difficult walking this far in sand, your legs, calves starting to become weak. But you start to feel vibrations in the ground. And as you stop, all of you that have that perception kind of realizing synchronously, yes, as you feel it, you stop looking at each other, and then audibly in the distance, hearing the grinding of the earth. As you see in front of you, probably about 50 or so feet, a dune kind of raise, sand spilling over either side, and you can see purple skin shining through,
Oh no!
and
Oh no!
large bony protrusions coming off of the back as it then dips back down into the ground.
It's a graboid. It's a graboid.
Tammy, I don't know what that is. Calm down. We'll be
But
fine.
you all see this.
Down. Did you see that? Did you see that?
I think we all saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely
By
seen
the
that.
gods!
Is your passive perception above 15? Herc?
No, though I didn't feel like I assumed that I
So,
saw the
yeah,
big freaking worm come out.
everybody
I
sees
just
it.
didn't, yeah.
'Cause
but,
it's in
some
front of you.
people
Yes.
sense the little
Yeah.
vibrations and the lame stuff. Okay, I
Alright.
saw the worm. All right.
As it flashes in front of you.
Oh shit! Never
They're
mind.
real.
Sam's
and
not
then
doing
vanish.
anything. Oh shit. I'm gonna look at this rock that we're next to. How high is it?
This rock?
Yes.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. It's about, it's about 70 feet in the air.
Is there any purchase for us to get off the ground on it?
You can certainly try. The base especially, very smooth, worn away by the blasting of sand, kind of. You might find some holes that have been worn all the way through the base from the sand constantly withering away. But a lot of it, especially the further up you get, seems to be worn almost smooth with no real purchase.
Say, who's this guy in the cashmere sweater?
Fucking Sammy's new token.
I know, that's new Sammy token. I did the process of elimination. Okay. So it's pretty smooth here. That sounds difficult to climb, you guys.
Yeah.
As you're kind of looking around, this one is about 70 feet in the air. This one over here, let me get back to my map. This one over here. Can you ping
It's
for
over
me,
here.
please? For the love of God. Can you see the ping? No.
No.
You got the right layer.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah, that one.
But
Yep.
there we go.
You shifted us. Yes. Bottom left corner.
Yeah. For shit's sake. Okay, bottom left corner. I don't know why it's okay. Anyways, bottom left corner. That one's probably about 120 feet in the air. Very tall.
Yikes.
The two on the right side of the map are a little bit shorter, probably only about 30 feet. And then the one towards the top of the map is very, very tall, but it has a lot of like smaller ledges that kind of wrap around that are only probably about 10 feet off of the sand.
That goes up higher and higher still, right?
It does go up higher and higher still, yes. But the initial stone is like there is, I don't know, a good 20-foot ledge that is only maybe 10 foot off the ground that kind of wraps around the entire base of the stone structure.
Arsus, what do you know about these things? Do they eat people? Are
Do
they
you
like
think it
whales?
can feel us?
I mean, I don't know anything about them specifically, but I think based on deductions, they can feel us walking in the sand, and that's what's causing them. So if we're quiet, it may just move along. If we stop moving.
Nobody move.
We take Arv off of your camel. 'Cause I can't remember its name.
Halande.
A long day. Come on, man.
How long a day?
And if we send your camel west, we might have a chance to make it to that rock to the north.
How far away was the worm when we saw him?
About 50 feet.
Yeah.
That was really close.
Yep, 50 feet. And keep in mind, unless you have anything that prevents you from the disadvantages of difficult terrain, your movement speed is halved.
Okay, so I don't think we need to split up or run. I have an idea.
Sammy's not going to take off and bolt. He's not going to do that. He wants to. He's not going to.
Oh,
Right.
wait. Oh, you're not gonna take off and bolt? You said?
Oh God, no. I was
Okay.
waiting for somebody else to take off and bolt. Then he's going to run the other way.
Oh, there we go.
So Arsis is gonna
Okay.
cast Pass Without a Trace. And hopefully that will help us navigate past this worm without aggravating it further.
Well, let's find
Uh,
out.
Leaves no tracks or other traces of its passage.
Only be tracked by magical means. That's the rub right there.
Yeah, how magic is this worm?
What I'm wondering is, does it say anything that would if a creature has tremor sense?
That is going to
Says
be
it
a
leaves
you call.
no tracks or other traces of its passage.
Yeah, but like this thing isn't looking for tracks. It's feeling your footsteps.
Right, but this is saying that we don't have footsteps, essentially.
Well, I mean, you can't
don't
not
have
have footsteps.
tracks.
You don't have tracks, but you still have to. You're not
You're
weightless.
still touching the ground. I understand
yeah.
like the concept of it, but like it's supposed to muffle, hide your sound, your presence and all. Like it completely coats you guys. It
Okay.
doesn't say from vision only.
Veil of Shadow of Silence radiates from you, masking your companions from detection for the duration. Each creature you choose within 30 feet of you and has a +10 to the dexterity stealth check, and can't be tracked. Okay, so it can't be tracked, but it can still be seen. It just can't be tracked as in like followed. A creature that receives this bonus leaves behind no tracks or other traces of its passage. Okay, so you still have to make a stealth check. You just get a +10 to
Yes.
it. And a 10,
Correct.
like if the majority of you still only got like a 15, it's potential that
It can still find us, yeah.
It can still find
we're
you.
not completely
Okay.
Okay.
erased. It's just we're much more muffled,
okay,
much
all right,
harder to find.
all right, go ahead, and if you're gonna
Let's try it.
Are we?
Yep.
Wait, before we
Roll
try
for the
rolls,
camel.
Are we going for the low rocks?
Arsis is convinced that we need to continue in the same way that we were going, so she would head north.
So
Yeah,
towards the big
These
rock.
rocks, yeah, Big Rock has like purchased at least 10 feet up, so we could probably.
But we can walk for
Figure
an
out.
hour, so
Uh,
we can get
well,
pretty
I mean,
far
so-
from the worm.
Maybe we like go in the direction of Big Rock just in case we fail the stealth check.
Sure.
Yeah.
okie dokie. Which would be north, in the general direction.
Yeah.
All right, and this is the last thing we'll do before we end session.
All right.
Okay.
So stealth check for everybody,
Yep.
Whammy, whammy, no
including
whammies.
the camel.
Can I get on the
30.
camel? With
I think we had
Arf.
ruled that only one person can be on the camel at the same time.
That is
What?
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did roll that
Like-
because of no
Yeah.
saddle.
Well, I take it. I had ruled specifically that he couldn't ride it while not having like well, no, I did roll that because then Arv wouldn't be able to fit well on it. You could carry Arv if you wanted to while you were sitting on the camel's back,
yeah.
but if you didn't have your sense of sight in trying to look into the crystal ball for the true seeing, that would be difficult. Anyways, okay, yeah, you can ride it.
Just with the armor and stuff, I want to I want to be conscious of. Oh,
I'll give Herc a bardic if he rolls slow.
What is a camel's?
Riker, one of your numbers is gray. Do you have disadvantage for some reason?
Yes, my armor gives me disadvantage.
Oh, okay. So you technically only rolled an 18.
Yeah, same with Ren.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
At a bardic.
So 14.
No, at a bardic.
Yeah.
Come on, Herc.
Give me a.
Nice.
Oh,
There we go.
nice.
Okay.
And then
Alright.
the camel. Do you have camel stats?
I do. Let me.
Probably is 0.
Camel can carry
Camel
500
dexterity.
pounds, no trouble. Wow. -1? That seems silly for a camel's stealth on the desert.
Rin's gonna give the camel. Well, I don't know that it's gonna matter here.
I
I feel
don't
like the
think
camel
you
should
Yeah.
can,
be.
because it's technically the same turn and it's a reaction.
Yeah, I
yeah,
would.
I was gonna go with an enhance
Or bonus
ability
Oh, spell.
and give Cat's Grace, but I don't know if that's gonna matter because it's just the target has advantage, and the advantage was a 5.
I think the
So
camel should get plus 200 just for being a camel in the desert. That's its
Okay.
natural
Big
habitat.
though. It's a big thing.
All right.
I understand it.
Give me or position yourself in a line, or however you would. What formation you would be traversing across?
Camel last, I think.
I'm right behind Ursus.
Okay.
I'm a last.
Camel needs to be a
Great.
little bit closer though.
I can't
Arv is
lose
gonna
a
get
camel.
swallowed whole.
Camel last with. So Herker, you're walking on the camel or no?
Yeah, I'm on the camel with Arv.
Okay, you are on the camel with Arv. Okay, got it.
You rolled that forward to try to get on the camel stealthily.
Okay. Man, this has such high implications of the course of the next session. So
Yeah, it means that you could plan because something's gonna happen or nothing's gonna happen.
yeah. We're going to roll
Oh,
this
ooh.
perception check.
Look, Master 5000.
Whatever this
But you
number,
could hurt.
whatever this number is going to be,
It's
going to be a +4. Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
$14.
14. Okay.
All right. And we
I don't know if you want to do group or the fact that it just recognizes the camel.
We're gonna find out next week.
we will find out next week.
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone passed but the camel.
That is
Yeah.
correct.
Worms only eat
Again.
sand though.
Not sand,
So I
earth.
think we're gonna be fine.
But yeah, we'll see. But alrighty, friends. Thank you so much for making our post-election day a distracting one.
Yeah.
I appreciate
You didn't even have to
all
really
your efforts.
voice any NPCs. Look at that.
Yeah,
You're
it's
good.
true. Yeah, I didn't have to speak for an NPC really at all, except for the
Just had
bandits.
to go
Look for some woohoo with Arv.
Yeah, woohoo. No,
Would you
that's
look up Simlish?
no.
I know what that means. A sim. No, Bria taught me that.
Wasabi.
Yeah, luckily Bria gave me a little inspiration there with her couple little excerpts. I knew what Simlish was and have heard it in the past, but I couldn't think of how it
It's hard
sounded.
to bring it out of like nowhere, like to pull it out
Yeah,
of
unless
thin
you've
air.
played
Yeah.
the game enough to.
Oh, many an hour has been spent playing
Oh,
The
man.
Sims.
Sims 3 was my favorite.
Yeah.
That one was
Yes,
the
season
best.
3 was really good.
Alrighty, friends. I'll see some of you tomorrow, and others of you in 2 weeks.